Hello and welcome. This is Business Time on Times. It is a magazine program in which we bring you latest economics and business news. I am Tabby Kamangala, and in today's program, Eskom says it has recorded 112 million kwacha loss since 2018. And CFTC has said that bid rigging remains a challenge. Stay tuned for more. The Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, Eskom, says it has recorded a 112 million kwacha loss since the year 2018, barely a year after it was unbundled. The electricity provider was unbundled in the year 2017, a development which gave birth to the creation of the electricity generation company, Agenco. According to Eskom Chief Executive Officer Kamkwamba Kumwenda, energy distributor is paying more to independent power producers, IPPs, than the price it sells to consumers. We caught up with Kumwenda, and this is what he had to say.
The past weeks, we've had the reports that, especially today, I think Nation's newspaper, that Eskom is actually ripping off customers due to the Greco tariff, which has not been removed. The other issue was about the JCM, delayed payment to JCM. Let me first explain the issue, the Greco issue. What we had agreed with government is that because the renting generators is very expensive, so an agreement was reached that the 3 kwacha tariff should not be removed, but rather the same should be ring-fenced, and then Agenco should use the funds to procure gensets that are going to belong to Malawians. So we will not need to pay capacity charges and the like. As you are aware, when Greco was here, the 4 years that they were here, we paid them for energy delivered 4.4 billion. For capacity, just hiring the gensets, 32 billion kwacha. And for fuel, which was bought by Eskom, 80 billion kwacha. But in terms of energy given to us, they only gave us 1.14% of our energy needs. So that was very expensive. So the question was, instead of giving these sums of money to a contractor, why not do the same and procure our own gensets as the country? So we just need to make a choice as a country. Where do you want to be long term? Because we don't want to be thinking short term. Most people are thinking short term. Let's think long term, because the population is going to grow. We need the energy. So long term, as a country, where do you want to be? So the question of Eskom ripping off customers is not true. As of now, in terms of costs, Eskom is charging on average the end user customer 104 kwacha per kilowatt hour, but we are procuring energy on average from the producers at 140 kwacha per kilowatt hour. So the question is, who is financing the difference? Over the period of since 2018, since the unbundling, Eskom in total, cumulatively, we've lost 112 billion. So slowly, Eskom is actually dying. We're actually killing Eskom. So I would urge the Committee on Natural Resources and Honorable Chirenga, yes, they may lobby for the removal of the 3% or 3 kwacha Greco tariff, but they should also equally lobby for MERA to increase the tariff so that the tariff is cost reflective. We can't be buying energy at 140 kwacha per kilowatt hour and selling at 104 kwacha. It's not sustainable. So I would urge our members of parliament to be objective and to look forward, because as of now, we can't even buy materials to connect new customers. We can't even maintain our existing infrastructure because there's no money. Just on buying, we're losing 40 kwacha per kilowatt hour. We haven't paid salaries. We haven't maintained our infrastructure. We haven't actually upgraded the infrastructure. We're actually depending on donations. So going forward, I think when you say Eskom is ripping off customers, I think we need to be careful that we should not try to incite the populace. As Eskom, we don't want to get involved in politics, but this is business. So Eskom is not ripping off anybody else. On the other hand, I think Eskom is being ripped off, if I may say, because now we have a right to demand a cost-effective tariff for Eskom either to break even or to make a profit. So in short, I think that's what I would say, that going forward, I think let's make sure that we save Eskom. As we say now, Eskom is slowly dying. There is no cash flow. We can't borrow. So we have to make a choice. It's either we increase the tariff or we indefinitely close Eskom. That choice is up to Malawians going forward. But as you know, Malawians don't want to pay. But we have no choice. If they want electricity, we have to pay for it. Yeah, since the unbundling, there are several factors which have made us to register a loss of 112 billion. You might be aware that the IPPs, they charge us in US dollars. So they're converting the invoices at the ruling date, at the date of payment. So you can imagine that in 2018, the kwacha to a dollar was not as high as it is now. But now we're converting the invoices at a much higher rate, maybe 1,300. But our end user tariff has not changed. We are getting the same kwacha from our customers, but we are paying more to the IPPs because now they're converting at the current rate. Going forward, I think maybe we should have an automatic price adjustment, just like they do in fuel. Otherwise, this is not helpful for Eskom. The other reason is on the 112 billion includes the dispute which we have with Genco. Genco charges us based on capacity, but we pay them based on what we've metered. We've got a meter, so we meter what they have given us, and we pay them based on what we've metered. So that difference over the years has also accumulated. So in short, that's what's happening. And thirdly, of late, you notice that the JCM came into operations in 2021. Then there was the Goromoti this year, and there was the Mulanje Seda this year. They're selling us power, but Mera has not given us enough tariff for us to cover for those costs. So we're paying this out of our own resources, while we're not creating anything from the customers. So just to wrap it up, to say that the Eskom is ripping off customers is not true. But I think the opposite is true, because we're buying at 140, we're selling at 104. So going forward, I think our Honorable House, plus Mr. Honorable Chirenga, the best they can do is, yes, they can remove the agricultural tariff, which is 3 kwacha, but they must add on top of that about 70 kwacha per kilowatt hour to make business sense for Eskom to survive. So that's what we can ask our MPs to do the needful, increase the tariff to make it cost reflective, remove the 3 kwacha, add the 70 kwacha. We just want to be as transparent as possible.
Still on business time, NBM Development Bank, subsidiary of the public-listed National Bank of Malawi PLC, has disbursed 3.5 billion kwacha in loans to small and medium enterprises, development and growth since its inception in the year 2019. William Kumwembe caught up with NBM Development Bank General Manager Bernard Massey to find out the impact of the loans.
Yeah, NBM Development Bank is a wholly owned subsidiary of National Bank of Malawi, PLC. It was set up to support SMEs. So it is basically an SME bank set up to provide long-term funding to the SME sector. It was set up in 2019. And it is duly licensed by the Reserve Bank as a development finance institution. Actually, it is the first privately owned DFI in Malawi. We have actually provided funding to a number of SMEs, including startup businesses. We've actually disbursed a total of 3.5 billion to the SME sector since we started. We've dispersed over 1 billion kwacha to women-owned businesses. We've actually dispersed close to 500 million kwacha to youth entrepreneurs. We've also made a lot of impact in terms of job creation, export development, import substitution, access to world-class health facilities, promotion of the environment, in terms of financing of environmentally sustainable energy sources, just to mention a few. Yeah, I think that notion is coming from the reality that most commercial banks do not support SME startup businesses. And that's where we come in. We are there to fill that gap. So we are financing both existing SME businesses in terms of expanding their businesses or starting new ventures. So we are providing startup capital, and this has been a pain for most entrepreneurs with good and innovative ideas. Where do they go with those ideas? Now they have the answer. We are the solution. We are the game changer in SME financing in Malawi.
Remember, this is Business Time on Times, a magazine program that brings you economics and business news making headlines. We'll be back after this. Malawi Telecommunications Network, MTL, has said the decision by Press Corporation PLC to offload 80% of its shares in the company, coupled with debt the firm owes Malawi Communication Regulatory Authority, will not jeopardize anything. Justin Guel has more in this report.
Over the weekend, the Malawi Telecommunications Limited, MTL, had an engagement with its customers to update them on a number of things, including their newly introduced 4G network, which their customers will now be enjoying, moving away from the WiMAX technology which they were using. Speaking during the engagement, which took place in Blantyre, MTL Chief Commercial Officer Gladson Query said the new investor who will buy shares of MTL will take the company to a new direction and the debt will be paid by June next year. He then assured the customers that service provision will not be compromised, but instead things will go according to how they have planned it with their business strategies. Let's hear more from Query.
This engagement, we've called all our customers to share with them developments that are happening at MTL, looking at the new products that we are bringing on the market, as well as just to interact with them, having all our member of staff here to share and deal with any issues that they may have. At the moment, we are providing enterprise solutions to companies, and you may remember that in the past we used to provide services even at home. So we have moved our technology from WiMAX to now 4G, which is on LTE. So tonight we have put our technology here so that our customers can actually experience it and enjoy it. And if there are any issues, we will interact. They will ask us questions and we will deal with the questions here. Actually, it should not be a cause for worry for our customers because what PCL is doing is to bring in a strategic investor that will help the company to invest in developing technologies that are on the market. So it's a good thing for the customers, and I would like to assure our customers that MTL will be there to support their services and indeed their requirements, and even bring better products. We would like to assure our customers again that yes, we owe MACRA, and we've been engaging with MACRA on the settlement of the amount that is being owed, and we have up to June next year, 12 months period, where we need to service this debt. So MTL is there, we've got a payment plan, and we'll be there. We'll sort this one out, and we'll be there for our customers, and they should be assured that our license will not be revoked. This is a service on LTE, and our customers who enjoy this service using any smart technology like a tablet, they can just buy our SIM card and put it in there, and they will be able to access our service. But primarily we are using routers and mobile MiFi that they will use to access our data network. So at the moment we are piloting in Blantyre and Lilongwe, and we have a good uptake, and already the experience and the way we have packaged the products, it's tailored to the requirements of our customers.
Kuyeri further added that even though the technology has delayed compared to other players on the market, MTL has made it attractive by bringing on the market cheap and unlimited bundles which can work on any gadget, provided the gadget has an MTL SIM card. One of the customers who attended the event, Patali Mkorongo, applauded the company for the engagement, describing it as an eye-opener to their new technology.
First of all, what I would say is I would commend MTL for reaching out to most of their customers. So lucky I've also been invited to experience what they are launching here. I wouldn't actually call it a launch because that's what they're saying. It's not a launch, but it's a pilot phase in introducing 4G, moving away from WiMAX. So it's a great experience that I'm here to witness the beginning of a new journey with MTL. Partially satisfied because as you can see, the economic grounds that we are sailing on right now, for a company like MTL to keep going, I think they've been there, they have the infrastructure. So the infrastructure is like the baseline for everyone that operates in data business should have. So as of MTL, we know they have the infrastructure, they have the coverage, they have fiber in almost each and every district of Malawi. So you know that business is going to be there. What remains right now is just to approach the customer and convince them to ride on MTL and then move forward with the company as it grows. In terms of paying back the loan, I think that's for MTL to clarify. But I know if they say they have a payment plan, then I think it's something that we can trust.
MTL is one of Malawi's oldest telecommunications companies with coverage across the nation.
And lastly, in today's program, the Competition and Fair Trading Commission, CFTC, has said that rigging remains a challenge in the country, especially in public procurement entities. This was said in Blantyre during detection and remedying of bid rigging presentation at a business session for government officials on the sidelines of the recent 32nd International Trade Fair. We caught up with the executive director of the commission, Apoche Itimo, to find out more.
Yeah, we were making a presentation to government officials on bid rigging. The Competition and Fair Trading Commission has mandate to regulate consumer welfare, but also to ensure that there's a competitive environment in Malawi. So as part of competition, bid rigging falls under that. So we have the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act that regulates the whole tendering process, procurement, but the Competition and Fair Trading Act as well looks at competition issues. So it was just making a presentation to them to ensure that the bidding process is always lawful and that it is competitive. Well, there will always be gaps, so to speak. You always have non-compliance here and there. So as part of the trade fair, we've been making presentations to traders, to companies in the financial services sector, and today we were making presentations to government officials. So we thought for the government officials that bid rigging would be relevant because it deals with public resources. We need to make sure that public resources are efficiently used and that bidding processes are competitive so that the consumer benefits at the end of the day. I would say it's timely because we have had cases we've seen in the media, I'm sure people have come across them, of bids that have not gone the way they should have, or government having procured goods and services at prices that were enormous. All that falls under collusive tendering and bid rigging. That's where a lot of bid rigging is occurring, but we believe that government is a big procuring entity. It procures so many goods and services, and it uses taxpayers' money to do that. So it's very important that the officials on the ground that are responsible for doing that are conversant with the legal provisions that govern the whole procurement process. For the effects, one, you can face criminal sanctions because it's a criminal offense. But also there are penalties under the Competition and Fair Trading Act, which is a penalty of 500,000, or financial gain if it's above that. We have the ODPP as well that regulates this type of conduct, and they have their own sanctions under the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act. So it's not just about maintaining taxpayers' money, but even your own personal integrity. You could face personal liability for non-compliance with the law. From the CFTC angle, we look at competition. So it is not everything about procurement that will regulate, because there's a specific sector regulator in that regard. So if there is a complaint pertaining to the competitiveness of the bidding process, if there's been any conduct, maybe there's been cover bidding or there's been restrictive tendering processes that were not in compliance with the law, then we come in. But otherwise, if it's generally speaking on the prices and so on and so forth, that is not something that we would tend to regulate. I would just like to say that it was a good session to interact with government officials because they are our partners. For us to curb this type of conduct, we need those entities, the officials in those entities, to be aware of their obligations under the law, and also to be aware of what they should look out for, any warning signs, any alarm bells, and to not only with their supervisors but also with the Competition and Fair Trading Commission. During the trade fair, no, because we've had sessions already with the financial services sector, the mobile network operators, and the business community, the traders, as well as the government officials. So those are the 3 sessions that we were scheduled to do. This year's trade fair has been good. So far, so good. Everything has been well organized. Our business clinics went very well. They were well attended. And we had a very interactive session. We were able to get information as well, to get some information from traders that will assist us in better enforcement going forward.
This was Business Time on Times, a magazine program where we bring you economic and business news. You are with me, Tabby Kamangala, and always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Goodbye for now.